Hello, love. Welcome to your Soul Support Sunday message. These are messages for the highest and the greatest good of the Elsh Collective, empaths, lightworkers, starseeds, and healers, awakened and awakening souls. Those of us who are here on a mission know that if this video has found you or you have found it, and this is the first time that there is a message here for you, that is always the intention of these messages. We're going to get right into it. There's a lot coming through for this one. It is an energetic update. I'm working with the energies of one of my guides and the Lyran Andromedan emissaries of light. My guide connected to the sisterhood of the Rose, and also Shekinah and the feminine principle, the Rose principle, the divine feminine mysteries, really wanting us to focus on cyclical time, showing me the moon and her cycles, the earth and her cycles. I heard Mama Gaia's cycles, earth time, cosmic time, and the connection to organic timelines and being able to differentiate between an organic timeline and a synthetic one. Okay, I'm just going to put my notes down here for a second. Now, I realize that this is probably going to be very specific for some of you, but there is a relevance here to the collective at large when we're talking about organic timelines and inorganic timelines. This is where we are being called in a way, if this speaks to you, to differentiate between what is being presented to us as true when it is not. That's a synthetic timeline, okay? My guide also wanting me to bring in here the Mandela effect, if you're familiar with that. This is a concept. I can't remember. I think it was early 2000s, coined by a woman. This is what we know, okay? I think her name is Fiona Broome. Look it up. It's very interesting. Where a mass amount of people remember something happening in history, historically, in the past, something happening that didn't actually happen. And then finding out a certain amount of time later that that hadn't happened. Reading something different, for example, when they went to go look it up online or in a book somewhere. I'm hearing mass consensus around a particular event in history is how my guide is coming in to help clarify this. And it's named after Nelson Mandela because this particular woman thought for years, based on what she had heard, that Nelson Mandela had died in the 1980s, when in fact he didn't. Going about her life and later on seeing somewhere, again, I don't remember all the details, so please look this up if this resonates for you. Finding out later, somewhere, across the board, looking it up online, looking it up in books, in magazines, that he had died, I believe it was in 2013, okay? And then she discovered that there were a lot of people, this huge amount of people thought the same thing that she did, okay? And there are examples of this, more than just the Mandela example, throughout history. Sometimes it has to do with the way we spelled words. One of them was like the Berenstain Bears, that series of books. And how do you remember Berenstain Bears being spelled? And then some people remember Berenstain Bears spelled differently than others, okay? Things like that. So what she's directing me to is understanding that timelines are very much about also perception. And she doesn't want me to get too much into this because this is a whole other topic for discussion. But just understand that one of the ways that we can help each other, ourselves, to understand the difference between organic and inorganic timelines, and even the jumping of timelines is what she's showing me, which is connected to the Mandela effect, is through this understanding of cosmic time, and cyclical time, okay? Now, cyclical time is very straightforward. It's the cycles of Mama Gaia. It's the seasons. It's the cycles of the planet. She's also showing me that month, the word month, right? And this is where we have a huge contrast to the calendar matrix that has been set up versus the cyclical time that we were once attuned to as human beings here on Mama Gaia, how it had to do with the moon's cycles, but also the cycle of the earth around the sun, and also our relationship to light and the sun and the length of days and the seasons. That's how she's showing it to me. So really, this is about getting more in tune as a light worker, starseed, empath and healer, awakened and awakening soul, with the cyclical time of Mama Gaia. And we do have the equinox coming up, and that is a very important part of this, okay? Which is why she's wanting to bring this message through now. Now I'm working with the energies of Opal here. This is, again, Opal with the flash. It has a fiery quality to it. I'm going to show you this one too so you can see what I'm talking about here. You see that? Opal being a very divine feminine, soft but fierce at the same time when it has that flash in it, really connected to this particular one, especially very much connected to the sacral center in our bodies, the sacral chakra, which is all about, she's showing me time and cycles because it's connected to the womb. It's connected to the womb. And even if you are male, there is a center here that's generative of what she's showing me, right? We all have a creative center, and that is essentially where it sits in each and every one of us, whether we are male or female. It's the center of creation is what she's showing me. And this center works on cyclical time. It does not work on calendar time. It doesn't work on, she's contrasting this energy to the divine masculine distortion of constantly being on a trajectory of moving forward, of action, of time, of always doing. And we have no, and in that energy, we have no concept of cycles because we're always in one gear, is what she's showing me. One form of time that pushes forward. Like she's showing me like a laser beam. I'm almost seeing like a laser beam / lightsaber because it has this cutting sort of energy. And even though there are moments in time and there are parts of our cycles where we need to tap into certain energies of action, we also need to remember that we need to be receptive as well. And going back to the sacral chakra, it's very much about the flow of energy because the sacral chakra is connected to water. So this is, again, water, thinking of the energy of water in terms of currents and cycle, like cyclical motion, the waves coming into a shore and back out again. We're having to redress a balance is what she's saying with regard to this. Yeah. And that is synthetic. Oh man, this synthetic timeline is very much connected. Synthetic timelines are very much connected to the distorted masculine energies that have been too out of whack on this planet. Okay, I'm going to get right into the cards. Asking through the Starcodes Astro Oracle here and Pamela's mini deck for this energetic update. There's also an exercise that I wanted to share with you. We'll get to that at the end of the reading here. So cutting the deck, I'm seeing, here we go, Neptune and Vision, the number 26 that reduces to an 8. This goes back to the energy of cycles. Neptune connected to water. And how it's being presented here in terms of a vision is literally like, I I just keep on getting visions of water. That is all I'm getting. It's been coming through a lot lately. Okay, if you've been following any of these videos and messages, I myself also have a connection to water elementally. That is something that I've been discovering quite a bit as of late. So that it speaks to me as well, but it's almost as if it wants to speak through me and through these messages. It keeps on coming up, these visions of water, quite literally, and having this vision of water in your mind. And they're also showing me a way to help you do this in terms of tapping into cyclical time is to have a photo or an image of water somewhere up in your surroundings. Like I actually have, I'll show you this. I have this picture, I cut this out from a magazine of just this beautiful energy of water. This image reminds me a lot of Greece. So having pictures of water around you can really, really help with this. Connecting with the element of water can really help you with understanding cyclical time. And doing it with that intention as well is really important. Like connecting with the element of water and asking it to assist you in the understanding of cyclical time, okay? Venus, beloved, that's number 21. That reduces to a 3. This is a nod back to our sacral center. Do you see that? How Venus is very orangey and peachy in color, very sacral energy. Those are the colors that are associated with the sacral chakra. This energy of coming back to this divine feminine understanding of time, cyclical time. The way that Mama Gaia operates is what I'm hearing, okay? How Mama Gaia operates. So much coming through here about time is an illusion. However, we're working within the matrix of this calendar time. And remember, going back to the message that had come through about synchronistic numbers, Spirit, Source, God, your guides will use time and almost bend it in a way in order to send you messages to connect with you, right? The number aspect of it is significant. The number aspect of it is significant. Like on a certain day, at a certain time, if you're getting synchronistic messages coming through, synchronistic numbers popping up, they're working through that matrix because that is what is known to us in the 3D here on Mama Gaia, okay? That old matrix time, so to speak. And that's how they pierce through it. They pierce through it by sending you numbers, by communicating through how we're seeing time popping up around us, essentially. Okay, okay. Cyclical time. We've got the South Node and past coming up with the number 33. They want me to keep on shuffling because there's more to this. 33 reduces to a 6, and that is the number that is connected to Venus again. This is a nod to how we understood time in the very distant past, when we were more in touch with the divine feminine aspects of Mama Gaia. Before the divine masculine is what I'm hearing, in a way, took precedence and then took over, because the sun's coming out. Look at that. The sun, 18, with Source. And first house arrival, 39. That reduces to a 12. We've got another 3 coming through here. And I love that we're seeing the world here, Mama Gaia, right in the middle of this beautiful stag. There's like so much coming through this one. There's a couple things that are coming through for that. I'm going to get to that in a second. Okay, and then we've got Mars at the bottom of the deck, motion. These are the underlying energies. 22, that reduces to a 4. These are the underlying energies of like that laser beam lightsaber I was talking about earlier. This distorted aspect of the masculine in contrast to the feminine. We had Venus come up earlier, and now we've got Mars. So how I'm being shown this is that there is a certain balance or harmonizing that obviously needs to take place. We know that. and that there is always a time and place for this Mars-like energy. But where we are now is that we're seeing the purging and the cleansing of it in distortion, having been in distortion for too long. Those are the underlying energies. Remember that 22 is a master number, and it is often associated with overcoming obstacles. It reduces to a 4, which can also translate, it can be many different things, right? But in this particular message, how it's coming through is rigidity, not being able to switch gears, rigidity, being boxed in, okay? And the energies going forward are a rebalancing of coming back into cyclical time. With this arrival, and I love the stag's antlers are always symbolic of connecting to source and being receptive. And also being very pure, especially the white stag, and this is how it's coming through for me. Being a pure conduit or receiver of source light and source light energy for the highest and greatest good of Mama Gaia is what I'm hearing. Receiving these codes, right? This is actually connected to the exercise that I want to get to with regard to accessing cosmic time. I might do this in a separate video. I think I will, because it's probably going to take a good 10 to 15 minutes to speak of, where I can walk you through an exercise here that my guide is giving to me. She's nodding. Okay, it's better to do this in a separate video, which I will do as a follow-up to this. I may actually post it tomorrow, which is Monday, September the 11th, I believe, right? Yeah. That being a significant date for many different reasons, but especially the number 11, because she's showing it to me like a portal. And what's connected to this particular exercise is the energy of the heart being a portal, okay? So I'm going to do that. I will post that tomorrow, okay? This is the arrival of cyclical time. It's happening. We're connecting more and more into these divine feminine energies is what she's showing me. And you know what's really beautiful about this? Yeah, it's reminding me of the stag is a male figure. It's a male energy. But it's a male energy, she's showing it to me, that's very much in balance with the divine feminine and supporting and holding space for the divine feminine. And that's part of the transition and the changes that are taking place now. Is that this shift, this purging, is balancing out both the divine feminine and the divine masculine, coming back into balance. And it's flourishing. It's flourishing. This is how, I love it. I'm hearing this is how we arrive into the world, right? This is how we're meant to arrive into the world, because the first house is associated, of course, with the ascendant, right? In astrology. That is the time that you arrive, going back to time again, and how that is significant. And this goes back to your whole like connection to your life path number, your astrology, your natal chart, right? You choosing to arrive at a certain time. This is also what she's showing me is you as a light worker, as a starseed here, as an awakened soul here, arriving here at a specific time to be here for this. You're here for this. That's a confirmation, if that resonates for you, of course, okay? And then we've got the sun, 18, that is a 9, that reduces to a 9, source. This is the source of what I'm hearing is light, consciousness, life in tandem with Mama Gaia. They work together. And then I'm being shown the moon now as well. There's something in the connection here, again, coming, every single one of these elements are connected. They are connected to earth time. They are connected to cyclical time. I'm basically being shown cycle upon cycle. The earth, all the planets circulating the sun, and then the moon circulating earth. It's a cycle upon a cycle upon a cycle. And that is the nature of organic time. It's very much connected to that, this cyclical nature. Also, my guide showing me the energy here of the circle, of the sphere. She's actually pointing me to this, you know, to this painting here, or it's not, well, it's a piece of work, artwork, right? Graphic design artwork. I absolutely love it. This, again, being another image to meditate on, the cycles, the actual sacred geometry of a circle and the planets and a sphere. And this idea that where does it begin and where does it end? Where does it begin and where does it end? It's constantly moving. She wants me to hold this up here too, because this is a beautiful example of that. There's gears here, circles within circles. Look at this. Planets circulating, the moon circulating here, the earth, you could see it as however you want to take it. Cyclical, a cycle upon a cycle upon a cycle. And we are also coming out of another cycle of time, so to speak, with regard to how we've come to understand it here as an era moving into different ages astrologically. That's another layer on top of this with regard to the Aquarian age. Okay. Number 9 again with the 18 and the sun, just getting back to that for a second. I want to get back to these numbers for 2 seconds before I get into the Pamela's mini deck. 39, that reduces to a 12, which is a 3. 12 being significant here with regard to the wheel of the zodiac, the number 12, its connection to cycles again. But she's also adding in the 13 here because the earth, oh my goodness, the earth is at the middle of all of this. And you can argue here, she's actually giving me the example here of the 12 apostles and then Jesus. So altogether there were 13. Okay, and this goes back to the cycle of the moon and how before we had the advent of Gregorian Julian calendars. Absolutely, yeah. We had 13 months, so to speak. And the month, the word month is connected to the moon, or again, cycles connected to menstruation and to the womb again. It's all this layer upon layer upon layer. And it's in essence like literally right under our noses, right? Like we know this. She's showing me like we get this in our bodies. We understand this in our bodies. It lives in our bodies. And what did I say? Yeah, sorry, that was 39 with the 3 and the 12. 3 being the number of creation again. And 1 and 8 reducing to 9, which is the initiation into a new cycle. Again, the energy of the cyclical energies coming through here. Okay. Oh my goodness. Yeah. The Empress. I'm going to hold that up with this because this goes back to that energy of 3. Creation. This is Mama Gaia. This figure, often interpreted as being pregnant. 9 months. Initiation into a new cycle. Birth, gestation, cycles again. Again connected with the feminine, with the womb, with the cycles of women with menstruation, right? I like to call them moon cycles. You get my drift. And the energies of Venus coming through here again as well, which is also connected to that exercise that I'm going to share with you in the next video, okay? We got the 9 of Swords coming out in reverse. You know what this is crazy. So these are all these synthetic timelines coming out of this synthetic timeline. We've got a 9 coming out again. Because these timelines, what she's saying to me is they're a construct, almost like she's showing it to me like they're a construct of the mind, but she's showing this to me as the mind that is over That's robotic. That's not connected to the heart. Thank you. This is, and not connected to, not acting in a way as, it's not, yeah, not acting in service to the energy of source, is what I'm hearing. The energy of your connection to source. Yeah. Because essentially what she's showing me is that this Nine of Swords in the upright position is when your mind is not acting in service to your heart, to your connection to source. So coming out of this, when you work on connecting with this idea of cosmic time, with cosmic time period, you're flipping that on its head, and you're coming into this energy of cyclical time with the Empress right next to it. She wants me to pop one more card, and I'm gonna end it. I'm gonna end it there. Okay. Oh. Whoa. Okay. We got two. Justice. Rebalance. Rebalancing. Page of Cups. This goes back to the energy of the meditation that I'm going to share with you tomorrow. And then we've got this Two of Pentacles in reverse coming out. Okay, so this at the bottom of the deck. So this is an energy, again, of feeling, okay, she's saying to me that some of you, some of us, I know I have definitely been feeling this. And as this is a minor arcana card, this is connected to the everyday and the mundane, okay? With these warps in timeline is what I'm hearing her say. With these warps in timeline, physically, this can have you feeling very ungrounded, very, I love to use this word, but this is again, I know I use it a lot, discombobulated, out of whack, time appearing weird to you. That was definitely happening for me the end of last week, of this week that just passed. It's being reflected in your physical reality, where sometimes you also feel like you're piercing the veil of time, and your body is having to catch up with that in the way, because these are Pentacles energy. So we're talking about the physical body here, okay? The number two being your relationship here to time and your physical body. With Justice and the Page of Cups coming out here, this is another nod to the rebalancing of this energy that is going on right now. And in tandem with the Page of Cups, this 11 with the Page of Cups, this is the energy of how to access cosmic time through the heart. The 11 here being the portal, the Justice energy coming through here through Libra to rebalance. And the Page of Cups is an energy of being in those early stages of doing this as a practice. And what I love about the Page of Cups here and how this is coming through is that the page is looking into the cup, which is essentially what I'm hearing my guides say as you looking into your heart to find the answers, really, to find the energy. She's also directing me back to the water energy here in the cups and visions of water. Having those visions of water and really not making this a big deal is what she's showing me. It's almost like she's saying every time, this isn't like a super big extra practice that you need to do. This could just be every time you get into meditation on the daily, or not even every day for that matter, depending on what your practice is, that you tune into that portal of your heart and do this as a practice, even for 5 minutes, to add on to your meditation and what you're doing in terms of accessing how to access this cosmic time. Okay? Okay. I'm going to end it there, bringing in some more of this opal energy now into the reading as I close this off, okay? These energies of really the sacral chakra, the womb, water, cyclical time, and the divine feminine wanting to come through these crystals here, these opals. Thank you to my guides for being here for this, for the energies of the Lyran, Andromedan emissaries of light coming in to help us with this, to support us in this. The Sisterhood of the Rose, the principles of Shekinah, Sophia, the feminine wisdom. Yeah, there's a lot to get through here. I will post a video walking you through. It could be, you could even do it as an exercise. I will be posting that tomorrow, okay? Which is fitting because it is a Monday tomorrow. It is Moon Day. And as we are talking about cyclical time, I think that's pretty timely and synchronistic, okay? Thank you so much for being here, for sharing your time, your energy with me in this space. I hope that this message has supported you in some way, and I'm sending you lots of love wherever you are, in love and liberation, always.